27th, Tuesday. I am trying to dry some of my stuff out at a Airbnb. It's a little cabin. My jump starter battery in the saddlebag, my speed wax developed a hole and soaked everything in the saddlebag. I'm trying to dry that out. I may go get a bag of rice tomorrow to put, because it has my air compressor and my emergency jump start battery got soaked. Directions are soaked, the bags they're in are soaked. It's hard to imagine a 16-ounce bottle of speed wax soaking everything, but it did. Anyway, so I'm trying to dry that stuff out and just let you know what's going on. 3 days prior to this, I took a mental and physical 3-day relaxation, 3-night relaxation at a Airbnb in Fairbanks to try to figure out what I was going to do, since my plans have drastically changed. Instead of being here in Alaska for 6 to 8 weeks, I'm only here for 1 more week. So I will have to look up and see how long I've been here, and I'm going to go do that right now. I've been in Alaska for 7 days now. I've traveled 1,191 miles for a total so far of just under 7,300 miles since leaving home on May 31st. I think I said in the last one, I had planned on being here anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. There was 4 main roads I wanted to ride on here in Alaska. There are not that many roads in Alaska, so they were the main roads and highways I wanted to go on. Unfortunately, I don't know if I've said in the past, but Alaska has had an unusual amount of rain for this time of year. After talking to different people, and especially when I was talking to the gentleman that I'm staying in his cabin, he said it has been excessively wet, and that has just made all the roads here in Alaska, which the roads in Alaska are, even the highways, some of the highways are gravel, and gravel's not an issue, but gravel roads can be one of two things: either have a lot of gravel or none at all. And I've run into mostly not much gravel at all, so that means they're muddy roads. And a 1,000-pound motorcycle with street road tires do not handle well on muddy roads. After doing half of the first road I wanted to do, which was the Dalton Highway, it runs from I started in Fairbanks. The Dalton Highway actually starts about 84 miles north of Fairbanks and runs for 414 miles. There is gas stations at only 2 places. About the halfway mark, which is Coldfoot, 175 miles, and then at the end in Deadhorse at mile 414, there's gas. Once I made it to the Arctic Circle, which is about 60 or so miles south of Coldfoot, I was contemplating turning around, but I could not, because even with the gas I was carrying, I may or may not have made it to the first gas station, which is from the end of the Dalton Highway, is 54 miles. So it would have been real close whether I had made it or not. So I chose to go on to Coldfoot where I knew I could get gas. But even with that, I had to use the gas I was carrying just to get me there. But once I filled up there, I was able to make it to that gas station. I was basically running on fumes when I got there. I did have gas, but I just wanted to see if I could make it because I had filled my 2 gas cans up in Coldfoot along with my tanks, but I did not end up needing them. But I put close to 6 gallons of gas in my motorcycle, and that's all it is a 6-gallon gas tank. With all the roads that I wanted to ride on, minus the one I rode on today, the Parks Highway, which takes you from Fairbanks to Anchorage, and it goes by Denali, which I went to yesterday. All the roads I wanted to ride on were muddy, or are muddy. And I had several close calls trying to make it on my motorcycle, almost losing it a few times because of the mud and in heavy gravel. So I'm cutting my Alaskan portion of this a little short. I've still enjoyed it. I've got to see, and I will end up seeing most of what I wanted to see, minus riding on those other highways. The rest of my trip is I'm here in Alaska for another week. I go to Homer, Anchorage and Homer tomorrow. I'm camping 2 days in Homer. I'm taking a halibut fishing charter out of Homer on Thursday. And then Friday morning I'm getting up and I am heading to Haines, Alaska. To get to Haines, Alaska, I have to go back up north, get on the Alaskan Highway at Tuk, I think is how you pronounce it, T-O-K, and then head to the Haines Junction, which I have to cross back into Canada. So I have to ride about 130 miles on the Alaskan Highway. The worst 130 miles of the Alaskan Highway, it's all gravel. So to get to the Haines Junction, at which point I turn south and go back to Haines, or go to Haines. At that point, I'm getting on next Tuesday, a week from today, getting on a ferry and taking it down to Bellingham, Washington, and from there going down to San Francisco and staying in San Francisco for a few days. Lori's flying out to meet me, and then we are heading, I will be heading east on 40, where it starts in San Francisco or Berkeley area, and riding 40 all the way home. So got up yesterday morning and was heading to Denali. On my way, I needed to stop and get gas. These are just a few pictures I tried to get of the mountains that are part of the Denali National Park. While I was getting gas, I noticed Lori had tried to call me, so I returned the call and found out there was something wrong with the mower. It just quit working. She Googled. There was 6 possibilities. The main one being the belt. The belt seemed to be intact. She had to go back because she's house sitting and dog sitting for Camille. She got back to Camille's house. The front doorknob fell off. So she was having issues with that. And in the meantime, I called a friend who lives close. I didn't get permission to use his name, but he came and looked at it. And he found that, he found this. The right transmission drive pulley is broken. So we had to get a part for that. I Googled owner's manual, found out the part number and picture of the part, called Lori back, had her call Richie Kuhn to order the part. So now Lori just has to go get the part and put it on the mower so she can get the mower back up to the barn and finish mowing. So after all that, I got back on the road and started heading to Denali. And these are just a few pictures I took on the way. Once I got there, through the visitor center, that's what all these pictures are for or from. Just talking about Denali Park, how it's one of the most visited national parks in the country. The different wildlife, this is a diorama of Denali Park, National Park. In 1980, you'll see a slide. The park was enlarged and changed the name a little bit because it is now National Park and Preserve. These are just informational photos. You can pause it and enlarge it if you want to try to see them. That's a Dall sheep. That's for you, Lori. With the winters or the summers being so short, the growth on trees is very small, and it just showed the narrow growth rings. This is enlarged mosquito heads. The one on the left is a female, on the right is a male. Males just harvest nectar. They are not the bloodsuckers. Females are the ones that suck the blood. That's why in that appendage there, that's what it is on the one on the left. That's what's used to pierce your skin when mosquitoes bite you trying to draw blood. She needs that to lay her eggs. This is talking about during the Carter administration, the park was enlarged due to Congress enacting and growing the park. These are all just pictures I took I took a tour bus ride trying to see if I could get a picture. Denali. You have a 30% chance of seeing Denali because of the weather system that the mountain itself creates. This is a picture. There's 3 Dall sheep. When I blew it up, those 3 white dots, those are the Dall sheep. Denali is off behind these mountains here underneath all those clouds. It's approximately in the center. Right here, if you look in the center of this picture is where it is, underneath those clouds. Now in the park, the road that goes through the park is 90 miles long. In your personal vehicle, you can only drive the first 15 unless you camp at the campsite. And I can't pronounce the name. I can't remember what it is right now, but you can drive your vehicle there. It's about 30 miles in. But they do have tour buses that you can go the whole length of the road. However, since 2019 or 2020, because of a collapse in the road, which they later found out after core samples were taken, the road built in 1920 was built over top of a glacier. They call it a rock glacier because it's gravel and ice mixed together. Since the early 2000s, it's been slowly melting and caving in. Our tour guide told everyone this is proof positive that climate change is real and we are getting warmer. But I'm not going to get into politics on this, but climate is cyclic, and is on 1, 2, and 500,000 year cycles, etc., etc. Anyway, so the road's closed at mile 43. Now what they've decided to do is build a bridge over this polychrome area, which is the gravel, the rock glacier, and it is supposed to be done in 2026 or maybe the opening of 2027. So the bus ride is short and you really don't get a good look at Denali unless it's a clear day, which is rare. So you have to wait till 2027 if you want to take the ride the full length tour into Denali. So when I left Denali, I stopped, took this picture, and then headed on to my next stop. Took a few pictures on the way, trying to catch glimpses of Denali. Got to see a little bit more of it. It's still in the clouds, but it's in the middle of that picture. These are more pictures of trying to get a picture of Denali, which I could not. But it's the park. This is on the way this morning when I left the Timber Creek area, coming just south of Wasilla, between Wasilla and Anchorage, Eagle River area. I know this was a little bit longer video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.